Welcome everyone. My name is Sean, and today I want to talk about what's going on, the beef between Ana Kasparian of the Young Turks and Vaush of Vaush, the streamer guy. He looks like this. And I want to talk about how the way that people are covering this, specifically people who are biased in one camp, tells you a lot more about them than the actual substance of the argument between the two, because you guys know for a fact that I am on team Ana Kasparian in a lot of recent things. However, I don't think that the way that she went after Vaush is the most effective thing, so I think it's important for me to check my biases in order to tell you about this story in the most accurate way possible. And speaking of checking your biases, this video is brought to you by Ground News, so let me toss it to the ad read, then I'll come back over here and I'll talk to you on the other side about this story. Trust in media is at an all-time low. Information is fragmented, and it's hard for the average person to get a full picture from all perspectives on what's going on. And the reason behind this is digital media companies are actually incentivized to keep you on board their site, and they figured it's way easier to do that if they consistently tell you what you want to hear rather than give you a full picture. This is one of the reasons why I was so happy to be contacted by Ground News to do this sponsorship. A week before they contacted me, I recommended this to somebody who was asking for help getting out of a bubble, and the reason for that is because Ground News has an excellent system in order to help fully inform you. If you go on their app or on their website, you can scroll through and see that each article and each headline actually has a score that tells you who's covering it and who's pushing it. On top of that, they have this amazing blind spot feature that shows you stuff that is not being covered by your preferred political side. And in that blind spot feature, I was actually really happy to discover good information related to the Trump indictment, because this is something that is heavily divided along partisan lines. Now, I was able to find this amazing story about how the prison that Trump is supposed to be processed in actually has a ton of problems, and unfortunately, it's not being covered virtually at all by the right-wing media. It's a center and it's a left story, and it's something that I definitely want to look into for myself. Go to ground.news/justice to stay fully informed on breaking news, monitor your bias, and know where your sources are coming from. Use that specific link and you will get 30% off unlimited access to the website, and hell, you could even start running through the sources under each and every one of my videos so you could check if I'm giving you biased information. That's ground.news/justice, ground.news/justice.
I think Vaush is trash, okay? And if you actually genuinely do watch Vaush on a regular basis, you also know he's trash.
So like many of you at the beginning of this month, I was greeted with this amazing video of Ana Kasparian going after one Vaush, calling him trash, calling him garbage, and all of those positive things that we all want to see in the world, because who doesn't enjoy when left-wingers are fighting, and who is more deserving of this than Vaush? Very few people, possibly Lance from the Serfs. Actually, as a matter of fact, maybe definitely Lance from the Serfs. So it's all good stuff right here. I'm glad that Ana has figured out that Vaush is not a good person.
And yes, Vaush, I think you're garbage. I think you're trash.
Because there are tons of examples of Vaush being a trash, garbage person. I believe the video called Vaush is Unironically Evil is something like 2 hours long, documenting this phenomena. But the thing is, Ana then goes to the examples, and this is where I gotta take issue with it, and where I gotta be perfectly honest with all of you.
Found a lot of interesting things about what you had to say about the transgender community. Tried to scrub the internet of those videos. I found them. I'm really curious why you thought it was okay to say the kinds of things about them that you did, including the fact that you think that they have mental illness, they're struggling with mental illness, that's what this is about, they're the most toxic people on the internet. I've got the receipts. I'm ready to show them.
So after Ana calls Vaush garbage and trash and all that good stuff, she immediately talks about videos that Vaush doesn't like to be played on the internet, where Vaush is allegedly insulting the transgender community as a whole, as mentally ill, as the most toxic people on the internet, and all the things that you heard Ana Kasparian say. Now, to be clear, Vaush did say those things, and yes, this actually denotes a level of hypocrisy that Ana is correct in calling out, which I will address later. However, I do need to clarify that I've seen these videos. I will play snippets of the videos that I found on the internet.com because there's some missing context here that I don't think Ana is explaining fully, if I'm being perfectly honest. Now, granted, she's heated in this moment. It's a live show, but the facts are what they are.
The left community online, particularly the LGBT community, is cancerous as f. If you're not an idiot, you will agree with me on this. If you have any fucking experience with online like LGBT or leftist discourse, you know it's cancerous as fuck. You understand this. People are hyper fragile. There's a ton of mental illness. And you can't convert these people. They're not reasonable. They have to be excised from the left.
So Vaush clearly and obviously right there is referring to a specific segment of his audience that essentially tries to weaponize their transgender status and or their mental illness in a toxic way in order to shame people that are typically pro-transes, pro-transgender, and call them transphobic. And the thing is, he's not wrong about these people existing. In fact, we've discussed these people existing in the past. Remember when Jank's nephew, the largest political Twitch streamer on the platform, said that he was afraid to play a Harry Potter game due to the fact that these very same people would call him transphobic.
The only reason why I'm not playing this game, and I know a bunch of other people are not playing this game, is because we know that it's not worth it to get bullied endlessly and called transphobic endlessly in when we have massive queer communities and audiences. That's it. Everybody knows how much leftist motherfuckers love to chirp on the internet. They got no power. All they do is chirp, chirp, chirp. And that's precisely why so many fucking people that would otherwise like play it, maybe even raise money for charities or whatever, they're not doing it.
Now, because this is a real phenomenon, because there is additional context that explains what Vaush was saying in that particular clip, I don't think if this is the clip that Ana Kasparian is referencing, which I can't imagine there's something different, that Ana really hit the mark in her critique right there. However, and this is absolutely crucial, one of the things that Vaush was talking about right there was the fact that these toxic people try to weaponize their gender identity and label people who are even on their side as transphobes. And that's exactly what Vaush is doing to Ana Kasparian and exactly who he's fueling in his audience. And considering Ana Kasparian's criticisms of the transes are much milder than Vaush's criticisms right there, Ana actually does have a very solid hypocrisy point in order to hit Vaush with, because Vaush has been among the worst in calling Ana Kasparian a TERF, a transphobe, and all those things, feeding that portion of his audience that he acknowledges is there and describes himself as toxic, and using them to go after Ana Kasparian on his behalf. So if Ana tweaked this exact point a little bit, I actually think she's 100% in the clear. However, that's not really how she presented it, and I think it is crucial that we get this in the totality of its context. Now, moving on, I think we're going to find out what this is actually about.
But calling me a bitch TERF, because I just don't think that it's, politically advantageous to refer to women as birthing people or people with a uterus, that's terrible. I can't do that. But you can say some of the most disgusting things about the transgender community and then pretend like you have the moral high ground? You're garbage, Vaush. I don't respect you, which is why I don't want to talk to you.
Now, to give credit to Ana Kasparian, and again, she does a live show. This is a live reaction to a chat message on the spot, so it makes sense that her thoughts are a little jumbled and or out of order. But right there, she made 75% of the point that I made. However, she didn't really focus on the fact that Vaush acknowledges these people are toxic and then uses them as a way to attack her, even though he said comparatively much worse things about the same community. Also, it's clearly personal.
But calling me a bitch TERF, because I just don't think that it's, politically advantageous to refer to women as birthing people or people with a uterus, that's terrible. I can't do that.
Now, here's the thing. A lot of people have attacked Ana Kasparian for bringing up this personal angle, for emphasizing it and why she's angry with Vaush, but that's just ridiculous, and I actually think it's perfectly reasonable given the context of how these two spoke to each other for her to do that. When Vaush was first on the Young Turks, when Ana had the conversation with him, she said prior to that conversation, and I believe even in that conversation, that she was warned by a bunch of people not to have him on, that he was too toxic and all of that. And as a part of Ana's broader expanding political views, because this was during that period of time, she decided to buck what those people were saying because she believed they were trying to keep her in a bubble and give Vaush a chance. And they had a very courteous conversation where they got along, and for a while, all things were good. However, the thing is, everything that they said about Vaush was 100% right. He is the kind of guy, much like the serfs, that is going to put a knife in your back when it's convenient, is going to attack you in a lot of vicious personal ways. And for Ana Kasparian, just like any normal person, when you go out of your way to give somebody the benefit of the doubt and they spit in your face, obviously, you're gonna be angry in response to that. And again, even though Ana Kasparian didn't emphasize this point, I'm sure she's not happy about the fact that Vaush acknowledged that these group of people, this segment of the audience that weaponize their gender identity, I believe TYT is calling them the radical trans activists, which, by the way, aren't even all trans people. He weaponized them and threw them at Ana, even though he is acknowledging in those very clips that these people act in unhinged ways and they don't care about your overall politics and the way that they engage with politics and the way that they use mental illness as a shield or as a virtue point status or something like that is completely unhealthy for the political discussion. And considering he can acknowledge that on the one hand, but then throw it at Ana Kasparian when she has much milder criticisms of the tranzez community, it seems like it's a completely asinine kind of thing to do. But when you realize that it's Vaush and he's a horrible person and he's garbage.
And yes, Vaush, I think you're garbage. I think you're trash.
You understand that this was entirely predictable. But then again, Ana did give him that chance. She did offer him an olive branch and he spit in her face. So this is where we are.
Look, guys, the thing I can't stand is when people say crazy, horrible things about us and they go, why are you grabbing me? Why are you grabbing me?
Attention. He wants it so bad. Congratulations, Vaush. You got the attention you so desperately want. You're trash. That's what I think of you.
It's like, well, I'm just calling you guys the R word and then stuff. But why are you attacking me? Okay, so guys, to all, it's not just about Vaush. To all the criers out there who say horrible, horrible things about us, and then when we tweak you back, I don't need your stupid tears. Go away, okay?
Jen goes on this whole thing about how Vaush is doing it for the money, for the clickbait, or for whatever. And honestly, it's true, but it's not as true or as personally applicable to the Young Turks and Ana Kasparian as he's leading you to believe by the way that he's talking about it. It is, in fact, just a fact that these kind of people from the streaming world that are hyper competitive in a way that normal YouTubers just don't seem to be, want to generate drama in order to get clicks and attention, and they're willing to burn personal bridges, attack people below the belt in order to do so. However, it's not necessarily a thing where they're trying to engage with the Young Turks particularly. It's just that Ana was a hot topic. Vaush had the connection. He wanted to throw out what he was going to throw out. Ana ended up engaging with it, and he got exactly what he wanted. Vaush's response to this, almost 30 minutes long. It's a 2-minute clip.
So fine, what am I gonna, look, I'm willing to talk to almost anybody. So you want to debate, what are we gonna debate? What are we gonna debate? Your positions are not consistent. So am I debating the Vaush that hates trans people or the Vaush pretending to love trans people?
I don't know
who I'm debating.
What's hot right now online?
Okay, where's the money? Where's the money?
Yeah.
Oh, have I got you to talk about me? Have I got into your algorithm loop? Yahoo! Guys, there's a literal cottage industry of people being paid, but through the views, etc., to attack us and then pretend that they're not.
Like they're trash, exactly.
Whoa, Jank. There is not people, creators out there that get paid lots of money over the course of years to attack the Young Turks in video after video after video after video. That seems a bit overstated. I don't think that as the biggest channel that does that is a real, genuine phenomenon. But that being said, what Cenk was actually referring to right there was not like the direct attacks or the direct responses that somebody like me would give. I think what Cenk is referring to is all these videos where they bring up Ana as the topic, they put her in the thumbnail, or the Young Turks, or whatever, and they soft pedal, soft walk through the criticisms, and people end up watching them on the hopes that eventually they're going to say something interesting. However, they are trying to have their cake and eat it too. Credit where credit is due, at least a little bit, to Vaush. He went on a burning bridge spree, and he actually burnt the bridges. A lot of these other lefty people have like soft pedaled, they sneak attack Ana, or they'll brutally say something about her in the middle of this, but they'll front load it with all this faux praise, and then when they get called out for the vicious, nasty things that they say, like the serfs, rather than own up to it like an adult, like a man, they'll end up cutting together clips of them praising them at the beginning, and never address the things that they actually said that actually got their attention that the Young Turks or Ana Kasparian want to talk about. At least Vaush is talking about and doubling down on the things that he said. But to be 100% fair to Vaush, which he does not deserve, there are much better clips of him that Ana could have referenced and or played that really show what kind of a scumbag that he actually is. I mean, some of the best clips from that Vaush's unironically evil video are the clips of Vaush in particular, where he's talking about how he'll say anything to win a conversation in the moment, and it doesn't matter about being consistent or anything like that. He just wants to be the victor because that will increase the success of him, and you know, he says by extension the socialist agenda or whatever, but in reality, it's definitely all about him. I would focus more on that than the way that this was framed in particular, and if you have to talk about this, I would point out that Ana's criticisms of the tranzez community are much milder. Vaush has made very similar criticisms about weirdo pronouns and all these other things, but when Ana does it, all of a sudden Vaush says it's a white woman moment and goes out of his way to personally attack her. I do think the personal scorn is legit, it is real, but it's predictable from Vaush, and unfortunately Ana gave him the benefit of the doubt and she got burned. However, I don't think her line of attack is as coherent as it could have been. Believe me, there's plenty more things that you could go after Mr. Vaush on. There's plenty clips that he wants to scrub from the internet for real, and he's worked diligently to get rid of, that are all out there in the public and really, and I mean absolutely, show you what kind of person he actually is. But hey, those are just my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you liked the video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on the social media, support me with the sort links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about Ana versus Vaush. Till next time.